Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Welcome to Financial Fitness Northwest, coming at you live on 1150 KKNW. I'm your host, Sarah Riley.
And I'm your co-host, Patricia Johnson, and we're the Riley Johnson team.
Woo! Our goal is to help people navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. Whether you are a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned investor, we can help.
We also strongly believe in giving back and empowering our community. It's our hope to provide our listeners with local charities and businesses and hopefully bring solutions to your daily life and provide you with opportunities to give back to your community as well.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, you guys. And on that note, Mom, Patricia, so she's my mom. I keep saying that, but if you're just tuning in, Patricia is my business partner and also my madre. And she just went to Hawaii and did the Lava Man for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So share with us how'd it go? How'd you do? You won.
I did not win.
Oh, okay. In my eyes, you always win, Mom.
Oh, thanks, honey. Yes. Well, I finished, so I think that
that's a win.
You know, we always say that if you finish the race, you're a winner. So that's a good thing. The race went really well. It was just, it was really all about, for me, it was really about the cause, which is the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, and raising the funds was a really great stretch for me. And I'm proud to say that I ended up being the third highest fundraiser in my Washington and Alaska chapters.
Wow.
So
How much did you raise?
I raised just under $7,000, $68.85 or something like that. I think it ended up being. So
wow,
I was pretty happy about that. I got a special swim cap that says
Ooh.
Top Fundraiser on it. It was pretty cool.
That's awesome. Did it make you swim faster?
And no, I don't think I swam faster. I think I just swam as fast as I could with all those people out there.
Oh, yeah.
So there was a total of about 1,600 competitors, and there was 301 actually competitors that were there with team and training. And as a whole, we raised like $1.5 million for cancer. So it was pretty awesome.
That's incredible. So what was the hardest part of it? I mean, you were prepared. You trained every day for how long? How long did you train?
5 months was the official training. And it was, I had felt like the swim was going to be the hardest because obviously in Seattle, you don't go out and swim in the ocean.
Why not?
in the wintertime. It was, so all of our training was in the pool. So the first open water swim in salt water was actually in Hawaii just a couple days before the event. But I was pleasantly surprised. It actually, it was good. I didn't have any issue with it. So that was a good surprise. So it all went well. The run was hard. It was very hot, and I did not necessarily run well. I ran.
Well, the terrain was a little bit rough, wasn't it? Unexpected terrain.
Yeah, it is a unique event because a chunk of the run is over lava rock and trail and some
sand.
Some pretty and then the end, the last half mile or so is in the sand. Like you're not already tired enough, and you get to run on the beach. So that was tricky too. But that's when you really want to pour it on because everyone's taking your picture, right? You got to look good. Even if you walk the other 5.5 miles, you got to run that last half mile. So it was good. Yeah.
How was the rest of your vacation? I'm so glad to have you back.
Are you? Well,
yes.
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome. It was very, very busy until Sunday when the event happened. And then the next week we had a really nice time. We actually did an amazing highlight of the trip was we went scuba diving with the manta rays.
Oh.
And it was, I don't know if I'll ever top that. It was pretty cool. They are like dive bomb in your head, these huge. There was 27 of them. The dive shop said that was the most awesome night of diving they've had in like over 6 months. And there's just, it was amazing. If you ever get a chance. Yeah, it's a night dive because that's when they come out and they eat the all the,
The fish?
No, they're not. They don't eat fish. They eat, what am I trying to say?
I don't know,
like
something in the water.
Larva or whatever. I mean, all the amoeba. I don't know.
Okay.
They're plant-based. I don't know. I can't remember. But anyways.
That's when they eat.
That's when
you stove, and that's when you saw
Yeah,
them.
it was very cool.
Cool. Well, gosh, I'm glad to have you back. I had to host by myself. Stag.
I think you did a great job.
It went okay. It went pretty good. But I missed it. I missed a show, so you guys all heard a wonderful repeat. Sorry, last week I was out sick. But so for everyone tuning in right now, today we have some really exciting guests in studio. When we come back from commercial, we're going to be talking with Courtney. She is the retail CPL, which is the Caliber product. Portfolio loan business development specialist with Caliber Home Loans. Okay. So she's going to be sharing with us information about our portfolio suite of products for those buyers that don't quite fit in the box and need some creative financing solutions. We have them for you. And so we're going to cover that. And then on the second half of today's show, we have Jackie Ramirez with Windermere Real Estate, who will be discussing real estate versus new construction, or resale versus new construction, the major differences and what you need to know as a buyer. So to find out about any topics discussed or to learn more about the guests we have in studio, you can always find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.
Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the ultimate home buying experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
So are you feeling frustrated with low inventory and being involved in multiple offer situations where, well, you're competing with many other buyers? Jackie Ramirez with Windermere Real Estate can help alleviate that frustration. Consider new construction as an option, where there are typically more choices to choose from, for example, more lots, floor plans, finishes, warranties, etc. Jackie Ramirez is a certified new home consultant, an accredited buyer's representative, and a member of the National Home Builders Association. To learn more about what new construction has to offer, please contact her at 425-890-1141 or email her at JackieRamirez@Windermere.com. That's JackieRamirez @Windermere.com.
Alternative Talk 1150.
Welcome back. You're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW, where we help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. And we are here with Courtney Ahlstedt, and she is the Caliber Portfolio Lending Product Specialist with Caliber Home Loans. Yay!
Hi.
Courtney has 24 years in lending, banking, and business development, and her role with Caliber Portfolio Lending for business development and retail for Washington. Courtney graduated from WSU, and she's married with 2 kids. And
A golden retriever.
A golden retriever. Oh, my goodness. I love that. And Courtney currently resides on the East Side. Welcome, Courtney.
Hi, guys. Thanks.
Welcome. Thanks for
having me. I'm
coming.
really happy to be here.
Yeah, we're
Exciting.
so glad to have you and share some of these cool products and just
Yeah.
what it all means to everyone. So
Yeah.
can you just start by telling us really what is a portfolio loan? What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. A portfolio loan is basically it's a lending term that we hear all the time in banking and real estate, and basically it means that there are loan programs that are out there for clients that don't necessarily meet the standard Fannie, Freddie, VA, FHA box, if you
Right.
like the government boxes. So a portfolio loan is usually a loan that is designed to help folks that don't necessarily meet that box, but is not sold to a an investor or sold to the government entities. So these particular products are kept in-house is basically is how we describe them.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Like when you say sold to an investor, because, as a listener, they don't really know what that means. But like, when you're doing jumbo financing or any other kind of financing, you still have an investor guidelines that you have to adhere to.
Right.
Right. And in this case, we don't. They're just our guidelines, and we're retaining the loan.
They are. That's correct. Yeah. So there's a variety of investors that are out there that will buy pools of loans. But these particular loans are just staying within Caliber, within our fund.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Great question.
So does Caliber, when those loans close, does Caliber service those
Yes,
loans?
They do. All of the loans are serviced at Caliber. So that's really, really convenient for the clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. They don't have to worry about being sold off the day after they close to somewhere else.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's great.
So what are the Caliber portfolio loan programs that we have, or the program?
Well, there's a suite of them. There's quite a few that are out there. They're all basically designed, like I mentioned, to be able to help clients that don't necessarily fit within that Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac box, or the VA box, or the FHA box, or an investor box, if you will. So we've created these suite of products to basically help these clients to get into home ownership that would have necessarily not been able to get a home loan.
Right.
Yeah.
Right now, maybe.
Right now.
They might have to wait.
They might have to wait, depending on what their circumstances are. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So what, since you're saying these are out of the box, how would the rates compare on products like these versus if they were falling into a conventional box?
Yeah, they're going to be a little bit higher, I would say, than what you're probably used to seeing on a Fannie Mae or a Freddie Mac 30-year fixed, or a VA. But we feel that they're priced fairly. We want to make sure that they can truly afford the payment.
Right.
With that being said, most of the clients that we're seeing that are in these loans have just something a little bit unique in them that we feel that the rate doesn't necessarily hinder the client by any means, because it's all about the payment affordability and the ability to actually get into a home now versus having to wait, 3, 4, 5, 7 years.
Right.
Things like that.
Right. So it's really,
Yeah.
it's filling a need for those people.
Definitely.
And it's somewhat of a short-term need, correct? I mean,
Yes.
are most people looking at this as a way to move forward in this awesome market? And
And sometimes there is, there's such a quick need, and I'm sure Jackie will talk about it later, is, the way that our market is moving so quickly, I'm being able to come in and actually get a house now, knowing that our appreciation is going to be pretty solid, and I'm sure she'll talk about that too. But being able to get in and into a home now versus having to wait 3 years. Well, gosh, that house isn't going to be there for 3 days, let alone 3 years. So these products were definitely designed to help those folks get into the home ownership arena now versus having to wait and actually maybe even paying more.
Yeah. I mean, it weighs out. We definitely have had clients that have done the portfolio products, and for them it makes sense, because even though you're paying a higher interest rate, over time you're winning, because you're buying now in this market, and with the appreciation and the cost you pay on rent, it makes sense all day long if you want to buy versus rent, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and rents are going up so crazy too, that at least you know what your payment is when you get into the home, right? As opposed to being subject to increases.
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
a good point.
That's a very good point.
So what really makes these products different than, like, other lenders have jumbo and have their products, right? So what makes these different?
There's a variety of products that are available, and I would say just like with every client being different, the loans are going to be different based on their experience or based on their current situation, either creditworthiness or financially. But there's a variety of products. I'd say the one that we see the most of is for someone who is, like you said, looking to buy a house, maybe one of Jackie's, and wanting to buy a house and is in more of a jumbo space. So jumbo loan meaning, above conforming, above the high balance limits set forth by the government. And maybe they are completely well qualified. They have great jobs. They have a great down payment, but maybe they don't have the right FICO score. So the FICO score typically on a jumbo is going to be anywhere between, depending on the investor, is going to be anywhere between 720 and 740. Yeah. So if you don't have that score, you're likely not going to be able to get any financing. So even though you've got a great job and you've got your down payment and all that good stuff, that's very, very important, because you don't have a certain FICO score, you may not be able to get into that loan. thus not being able to buy the house. So these particular products, for example, help people with maybe some lower FICO scores, maybe still have great credit, but maybe just have a lower score to be able to help them get into that home.
Right.
So there's a nice variety of reasons. I could talk all day.
Yeah.
We don't have all day. I could talk all day about it, but that just kind of gives you an example that we just are looking for to help these folks that have been underserved, for a variety of reasons, whether it's a FICO score or down payment or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big reasons too is, and that maybe a reason they have a lower FICO, and that what I've come up against is, if they have some sort of negative credit, event that happened on there with them, a foreclosure or a short sale, you have set waiting periods that you have to wait, which is 7 years for jumbo financing,
Right.
or conventional financing. It's shorter on government loans, but these programs are on like a tiered, basically, right?
They
And
are,
so
right.
you could literally buy one day after an event.
Right, you could. So there are 3 products that we have available for someone who's going to be buying a house and actually living in it or buying it as like a second home.
Okay.
So we have one product that, like you said, if they had an event, whether it's a personal bankruptcy or a short sale or a foreclosure, that you could actually apply for the home loan the day after it's done. Then it moves into the next tier is a 2-year look back, and then the final tier we have is a 4-year look back, which is still 3 years less
Earlier.
than it's still 3 years less than what you guys are experiencing with some of the investors for the jumbo category, which is super, super helpful for these clients.
Yeah, absolutely.
Super helpful. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And then when they get back on their feet, and they get the seasoning, then,
They
being
just
able to
refinance.
refinance, or if they're ready to move up or move out, or then they're not stuck in it. They're not stuck in the loans by any means.
It's really a temporary
Yeah.
solution.
It
and that's
is.
how most people I've experienced have looked at it.
Yeah, it is. And it is. And the key word there is solution. Absolutely. Solution.
So I know that people, from the financial crash that we went through with, that bad word that used to be around, the subprime, and some people might hear, oh, I can get a loan when I had closed in a bankruptcy yesterday.
Yeah.
That sounds like a subprime kind of thing. But tell us how these are not subprime.
Yeah, that's a terrific question because we hear that a lot. And we don't want to definitely have these products be known as subprime. We look at these loans individually. So, and what we always do, is we always have to make sure that the borrower that's applying for the loan has the ability to repay. That's a huge, huge difference between now and then.
Yeah, because they didn't have any kind of proof then, right?
They didn't have any of that stuff back then. And I think that subprime era is behind us, honestly. We look at these loans as solution-based loans that we're able to help clients get into homes. And, there are some differences between the fact of someone who maybe had a medical bankruptcy, that they just had way too many medical bills, or they had a really nasty, yucky divorce and something happened outside of their control. But they still make a great living and they really want to get into home ownership. We want to be able to help those clients, the underserved clients, to be able to get back into it. So I am very, cautious of that word subprime because we don't look at them as subprime because we have the ability to repay documented. We want to make sure that they give the loan consultant their pay stubs and their W-2s. And if they're self-employed, we want to see 2 years of taxes, all schedules, and profit and loss, and all that good stuff. So, I mean, we're really trying to make sure that these loans, don't fall into that category by any means, because they truly aren't.
Yeah, it just comes down to everything that we do, regardless of how the program may seem kind of unbelievable gift, to be able to do that, but it's still responsible lending.
No, it's completely, and we wouldn't be in business if we didn't have responsible lending guidelines. So we have to make sure that every single one of these loans is properly vetted.
Right. Yeah. It's not like a minimal documentation loan.
No.
Quite the opposite.
Not a state your income and we believe it loan. No, we want to see that you actually have the ability to repay the loan that you're applying for. Yeah.
And so, I mean, this is a good solution for people that have had a negative credit history or an incident event, but it's also great for people that just maybe have creative income, right? Like asset depletion, right? So can you touch on some other things that our clients, scenarios that this would benefit?
Yeah. it's definitely not just about credit histories.
Right.
It's not about just, oh, whoops, I had a housing issue a couple of years ago. It certainly is about creative financing. It's about, if you have maybe a self-employed borrower who is almost at that 2-year mark, but not quite yet. Maybe they only have 1 year to file tax returns, things like that. Again, someone maybe with a lower FICO score. For our brothers and sisters who work at Amazon who really rely upon the restricted stock units, those kind of things can be used as far as qualifying. So we do try to make creative solutions available to our clients. Like I said, every loan is looked at stringently by an underwriter to make sure that they can qualify and have the ability to repay. But we do have certainly really great underwriting aspects that are tied to these creative programs.
Yeah. And also there's, down payment. You don't necessarily have to have 20% down for all these programs either.
Yeah. We just closed a loan not even a couple weeks ago. It was an awesome loan. The guy had he had great credit. He had a great job. Had some money in the bank even. You can go figure, right? Money in the bank. But he just didn't have the down payment. He didn't have the down payment.
The 20%.
The 20%. And in certain cases, if you're doing like a super jumbo, like maybe above $1.5 million or close to $2 million on your loan, some of the lenders out there would like at least 20 to maybe even 30%.
Right.
So we were able to help this client get into this home with a 10% down payment. And it was wonderful. Yeah. Everybody was happy. He was happy. The agent was happy. I mean, everything was great. And so he was able to get into that home and start building a life for himself. So that's good.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So really good success stories.
Yeah.
So in those situations, how tell us a little bit about mortgage insurance, because generally anytime you put less than 20% down, you're going to have some type of MI, but we have some solutions
right
too, right?
So none of the loan programs that we're going to be that we talk about in our portfolio suite of products has mortgage insurance. We have 90% is basically the highest loan to value that we offer. So the borrower does have to have some down payment in the game. It has to have what they call skin in the game.
Yep.
So, but we don't require third-party mortgage insurance to underwrite the file. The rate itself actually has a built-in for the MI for the risk, because usually it's a little bit more of a riskier loan if you don't put 20% down. That's why you need mortgage insurance. But on these particular loans, we self-insure them.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's really nice, and it makes it easier too as far as the underwriting is concerned, because you don't have another company underwriting your files.
Exactly, and also when you're thinking about your monthly payment, which because these products, the interest rates are not competitive, like in the they're not the same as up against a normal jumbo, because they're different. Their portfolio, the rates are a little bit higher based on whatever program you do. But if you weigh out monthly payment, which is what everybody's really important to everyone, is what the monthly payment is.
Yeah.
And if you were getting mortgage insurance on like a $2 million property, your payment would be a lot higher than this like self-insured, mortgage insurance with a little bit higher interest rate.
Yeah. And, I'll combat that too, because this is a true story for myself is, I honestly do not have a clue what my interest rate is on my mortgage, but I know to the penny how much my payment is, because it's deducted out of my checking account at the first of the month.
Right.
So I know that I can afford that, and that I can sleep at night. And that's what we're talking about here. It's not always going to be about the interest rate. It's about the solution to the problem. Yep. There's not a loan program for you, Mr. Borrower, but we do have this alternative for you, so we can get you into that house today. So it's the solution based.
It's so fantastic.
Well, thanks. Yeah, we like them.
Yeah,
We like 'em.
I've been successful doing quite a few of these, and I know the clients have just been so happy that they're able to buy.
Yeah.
It's not for everyone. For sure, it's not for everyone.
No, it isn't.
But it is a solution, and
It is.
that's what people really want, so that they can get the house.
Exactly.
So I know I've seen, which I always love to see these reports. I love to see your emails that you put out each week. And no, it's great. And it really opens our eyes to how many different people we can help. But I love the stories when you say, hey, this person, we were able to make this exception to get this through. And so tell us just a little bit like what our flexibility is, because it is in-house products. So we do have a certain amount of leeway with some things, right?
There definitely are always exceptions to the guidelines, but of course, as we talked about earlier, we have to make sure that we document the file well and have the ability to repay completely documented in there, but there are little exceptions that we can make based on the overall strength of the file. So we do feel that we try to make loans work more so than have them not work, because we realize that everybody is unique and they have different situations. So if there's if you're 1 month shy of your reserves after closing, for example, if you've got good compensating factors documented in the file, yeah, let's take a look at maybe doing that loan for you. Or, if you, have, I'm drawing a blank of another example, but we do definitely try to find other ways of making the loan work versus not making the loan work. But,
yeah. I mean, that's what I love most about it is just really, it's like, I mean, as you said, we do have guidelines, and it does have to. They have to prove the ability to repay, and it's responsible lending. But at the same time, it's kind of more of a make sense situation too. So maybe they're a little off on one thing, like maybe the credit score's just a little bit lower, but they have like extra reserves, so we can kind of look at it from a standpoint of, does this make sense for this person, and go that route.
And the other thing too is that all of these loans, I think that we've all been so used to. Automated underwriting.
Exactly.
I don't know if you talked about with your audience about, the DU and the LP or all these automated engines that we're all with. But with the portfolio loans, all of them are actually manually underwritten by a human being.
Yeah.
So they actually read everything with their own eyes, and they take notes, and they say, oh yeah, that kind of does make sense. Okay, I understand that. So that I think helps a lot too when you're looking for an exception. If you can truly explain a situation and have it make sense, I think that's a really big thing.
I think that speaks volumes to why to work with a certain lender, because I mean, a lot of people nowadays are all about automated and, I can get this crazy rate on Quicken. Okay, well, are you really approved? Because you just enter your information from what you know and you think into the computer, and it says, oh, here's your pre-approval.
Exactly.
No one's even verifying your information, which also is done with automated underwriting. We do verify. I mean, but having someone manually underwrite and review and read, and I just think that makes all the difference.
It's a huge selling point, because there are certain people, clients that are out there that aren't cookie cutter clients, and they really, they need someone to actually, look deeper into the situation to see if they can get a loan.
Right.
And a computer's not going to.
And a computer doesn't always.
It's not going to. You don't get that personal touch with a computer.
Yeah,
no.
it's exactly.
Yes
Exactly.
Well, thank you so much.
Welcome,
Yes,
you
thanks for
guys.
coming
Thanks for
in.
having me.
It was awesome having
You're so
you.
sweet. Thank you so much.
When we get back, thank you for tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest. And when we come back, we'll have Jackie Ramirez, a real estate broker with Windermere Real Estate. She's going to be sharing with us differences in buying resale property versus new construction. Any topics we discuss on our show today, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnorthwest.com. Thank you.
Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the ultimate home buying experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
So you're feeling frustrated with low inventory and being involved in multiple offer situations where, you're competing with many other buyers? Jackie Ramirez with Windermere Real Estate can help alleviate that frustration. Consider new construction as an option, where there are typically more choices to choose from. For example, more lots, floor plans, finishes, warranties, etc. Jackie Ramirez is a certified new home consultant, an accredited buyer's representative, and a member of the National Home Builders Association. To To learn more about what new construction has to offer, please contact her at 425-890-1141 or email her at JackieRamirez@Windermere.com. That's JackieRamirez @Windermere.com.
Multicultural, multidimensional even. Alternative Talk 1150.
All right. Well, you're tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. We're here to help you navigate the mortgage and real estate market with expert advice from knowledgeable and trustworthy industry professionals. And right now, we're in studio with Jackie Ramirez, a real estate agent with Windermere Real Estate East. Her real estate career is objective is to provide platinum professional service when representing her clients. She has been a real estate agent in the greater Seattle and Eastside area since 2003 and works with buyers, sellers, builders, and investors. So welcome, Jackie.
Welcome, Jackie. Glad to have you.
Thank you, ladies, for having me.
We're so excited to have you. You're going to be talking with us about the difference between new construction versus resale, right?
Yep.
Which I feel is a really good topic, too, because there's more and more new construction now.
Yeah,
right?
finally. We're finally seeing some new builds in the area, which has been kind of lacking there from the downturn.
Yeah,
so,
it's been a couple years. All those like empty, sad little plats right?
They're now spring fresh.
They are, with beautiful homes on them. So, do you want to share with us about your career? Like, when did you get started in real estate, and how did you begin?
Sure. I started in 2003, and I was with a different brokerage at the time before Windermere. And I started kind of my resale business just right out of the gate. Did not start in new construction. Just did, open houses, first-time home buyers seminars. It was actually a really great time to be in the industry, just because we weren't quite seeing the big, huge multiple offers in the crazy subprime area. But just kind of got my feet wet then. Worked with a mentor. Did a bunch of branding, things like that, got that moving. And then I just had an opportunity from a friend of mine who had been invited to do a plat and here in the East Side area. And she asked me if I would be her buyer's agent. And I didn't know much about it, was a little thrown, but thought, yeah, this is, a great opportunity. I cannot turn it down. So I started and loved it, loved everything about it. Representing the buyers on that. It was a national builder, so it was a little bit different concept than what I'm doing currently, but she didn't so much like it on the listing side. Oh. So after that, I just took over, and I was like, I really enjoyed it.
Wow. Found your niche.
I did.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So as far as your career now, what kind of mix of your business is new construction versus resale?
Right now, it's probably about 50-50 just because all my builders are in land development right now.
Oh, yeah.
So they're busy doing their stuff, so not a lot of product to sell. So I'm working with a lot of my resale buyers. I have been very, very fortunate to be able to keep my resale side of business. Sometimes builders only want you to be in-house and work for them specifically.
Right.
But I have been really, really, like I said, very fortunate to work and to be able to keep that side of my business and kind of that be my bread and butter type of business. It's very, it's a very personal relationship when you're working with resale and different when you're working with the builders. So
yeah, I know. So I know what you're saying because I know you work with Tareen, who is my husband is actually the construction manager there, and I know they are just going crazy on the construction side, but not a lot of homes up and ready to list at this point. And you work with them, so those will be coming down the pike here at the end of the year, right?
Super excited. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Great product. So
yeah.
So do you generally work with? Because I know Tareen, they do smaller plats, right? They don't have. They're not huge. Like you said, you used to work with a national builder before. So is that kind of who you're working with now? Is it smaller builders like that, or?
Right. Yeah. I'm working mostly with local builders.
Local.
So they don't have huge plats like a Toll Brothers or a D.R. Horton who have 40 plus homes in one plat. But we're more on the 8 to 10. Sometimes we've got some things that are over in Bellevue, Kirkland area, and sometimes it's just a lot. It's just an infill lot, and we're going in and tearing down what's there, building a big, beautiful, brand new home there. And so it just kind of depends on where they are, what their niche is, what kind of land that they can get their
Right.
hands
How
on.
they
at
can
this time.
find. Yeah.
I was going to say there's a lot more of that spot building going on, even with some of the bigger builders, the nationals too, right? Just because there's only so much land, right?
Right.
And people want to be close to the city, so
Right.
they don't want to go so far out that, it doesn't put them in the good location.
Yeah, that's where you see a lot of the eclectic kind of neighborhoods too, especially when you're looking like in West Bellevue, even Kirkland area too, and much more so on the Seattle side as well, because everything's just kind of infill and there's a lot that's going to sell, and they just build a big, beautiful home there. But then there's a little,
cottage next to
door.
a mansion. Yeah,
exactly.
So do you mainly focus your business then on the east side in Seattle? Is that, or do you go down south? Where are you?
Yeah, I go pretty much everywhere. I always say, have license, will travel. And I represent my clients wherever they need me to go. So I will, especially on the resale side and on the builder side as well. I will go everywhere. When I start getting, too far north or too far south, then those are areas I'm not super familiar with. So I will usually bring in somebody that has been recommended to me that knows those areas, and we'll either co-list together or help a buyer together or something like that, or I'll just turn them over to them and make sure that the client's getting the best of what they need.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as the builder relationship, I mean, how involved are you? I mean, are you involved from like when they're deciding what type of home to put on a lot or what kind of finishes, or I mean, do you counsel on what you think is going to be best for a specific area?
Yeah, great question. So I've had the experience of doing both. Sometimes the builder will just bring me in to do the listing side of it. They've already done the floor plans. They've already worked with the architect. They're just wanting me to, and they're going to do the staging and everything, and they just want me to list them, market them, photography, all that kind of stuff. And then I've also worked with the other builders where I'm out there in my boots, and we're walking land, and we're trying to find a good spot, and then we're making offers, and I've gone door knocking and to find to talk to people. Are you interested in selling? And that's always interesting in itself. There's some people that are very friendly and some that are not so friendly.
The ones that have no soliciting on their door.
Yeah, no, I would stay away.
And the barking dog in the window.
Exactly, yeah, a little intimidating. But I've had a great experience in doing that as well, and just being able to, and again, just starting and helping with that. So I've helped them find architects for their floor plans and their drawings. I've helped them find their stagers, their photographers. I'm helping doing some of the staging. I mean, I've kind of been ground up with a couple of builders as well. So it just kind of depends on what your builder is looking for, what their aspects are. So, like, again, some of them have their stuff already prepared and ready to go, and they're just bringing you in to list.
I would think it would be pretty cool to be kind of on the ground up,
Yeah.
because then when you're ready to list that house, I mean, you really know everything about that house, and I would think you could sell from a much stronger position of.
Yeah, I love that part of it. It's really interesting. It was when I first started it, and it was a particular builder who was a friend of ours, and he was just. He was very intense about it, and so I learned a lot. It was really, really amazing. But you're working with the numbers, the pro forma forms, as far as, okay, if we buy this land, and how much is it going to take to build the product? What is our bottom line going to be? Are we going to make a profit, or are we going to lose? So lots of different ins and outs of the business that I learned, and I'm really very grateful that I got to experience that. And
yeah.
And I'm always still currently finding land for builders, just always out there just looking and searching and talking to people. And I do door knocking a little bit, not quite as I used to.
Yeah. How do you balance, so if you're doing resale and construction, new construction, how do you kind of balance both your businesses?
So in the new construction, it depends on if there's a model home and if your builder wants you to be on site in those model homes. And if you're on site 7 days a week, then typically at that point you're bringing in a team. So you're not always on site every single day by yourself. You're bringing in maybe a buyer's agent or a couple buyer's agents. And then, you're switching your times up and your days up. So it gives you some flexibility, and to always have my resale business as well. So if I'm on site, then I will, show a client in the morning, or, list a client in the morning and then go to site, and then, or maybe in the evening type situation. So just trying to balance it that way. But having a team helps the situation as well. So to make sure that everybody's covered and
Yeah. So when a client comes to you, do you present the option of buying resale or new construction? Do they already know what they want generally? I mean, how do you advise on what's the best way for them to go?
it just kind of depends on what their needs and wants are. And it just depends on where they're looking, if there is new construction in their area, if they want something new, if they want a resale. I mean, there's so many different aspects of when a buyer is looking, and you wear many hats as well. So if they're wanting new construction, then you're showing them just new construction. But a lot of my clients typically don't know if they want new construction or if they want a resale until we actually physically get out there and are looking. And especially, in this market where it's crazy and you don't know, okay, that house is there, but it's going to be gone in 3 days. So maybe a new construction route is the way to go because there's more lots available, have a little bit more time to not have to feel like I'm in a rush to make an offer on something. And then it also just depends on if they want specific neighborhoods, if there is new construction in that neighborhood, just kind of feeling them out, seeing what is most important to them.
That's a good point. I actually have a buyer right now that only wants new construction. And his reasoning is because he feels it's not as competitive. Right. Is that the case? I mean, he's like, I keep losing. I don't want to go up and be in that crazy resale market. I'm only going to buy new construction because, I mean, you're most likely, they're just going to accept your offer. You're not up against a whole bunch of other offers, right? They just take the first offer. Is that generally?
Well, sometimes. I mean, I've been in situations where you're still in multiple offer situations with new construction. The nice thing about new construction, though, is if you're talking about a plat, that okay, they might have their mindset on this particular home, but that home might be on a different lot. So then you're kind of just giving them the options to, okay, that you love this home. Can we put this home on this lot? Will you love it as much, or can we, work around a few things? And if it's a pre-sale situation, do you get the opportunity to do a little customization type things that would make it the perfect home for you? So yeah, if people are having a struggle finding homes, sometimes new construction is the way to go. If it is an area where there are more than just one or two homes to choose from.
I mean, are they having the escalating clause issue like you're having in resale? I feel like it's not so much in new construction, or
not so much in new construction. If you're in an area where there's others to choose from, if you're in an area where there's just one or two homes, 3 or 4 homes, and you don't have a lot of inventory, and also if it's
really
school,
desirable.
School based or whatever the situation is, a very desirable area, then you may have the escalation clauses and things like that are going on.
So I guess what I hear you saying is there's not that much difference between resale and new construction. It really kind of comes down to geography and just what kind of demand is in that particular area that they're looking.
Correct. And then just basically what the client's wants or needs are. There's lots of different, there's warranties with new construction. You're getting the builder warranty, you're getting the state warranty, things like that. When you're building resale, you're not necessarily getting those warranties. You'll have your opportunity to do inspections and things like that. But, some people feel more comfortable knowing that they've got that warranty to fall back on if something were to go wrong. So that sometimes that's a major component for some people, is just knowing that, okay, if I go with new construction, I've got this opportunity that I know if something goes wrong, I'm warranted.
Yeah, especially if they're not like Mr. Handyman, right? And don't want to have to fix a bunch of stuff.
Exactly.
So you obviously have done this a long time and you've learned a lot. I mean, if someone is looking for new construction, going with you, Jackie, they're going to be much further ahead than just another agent that maybe hasn't dealt with new construction, because I'm sure you probably are in the know, right, about like even what's coming out that might not be on the market yet. And
right, yeah, I do focus a lot on new construction, and that is kind of a niche that I've kind of created for myself. Is I do like knowing what's going to come up that people might not know about. It's tricky. And then
should talk later.
and yeah, just knowing when you're walking into a home, especially if I just had this experience the other night where the people are relocating here, they're looking for new construction. there was a model home they fell in love with. Well, it had already sold, but there were 3 other homes to look at. And so they decided that they wanted to look at the other homes. Well, the other homes were being constructed, so you couldn't really see what it was all about. And sometimes my knowledge is extremely helpful to them, but sometimes I'm thinking to myself, I don't know if that's the way I would have done it. And so then they like the fact that I'm giving them that knowledge that they might not be getting from somebody else. So,
yeah, and having seen construction underway, you probably can be sort of a visionary for them as far as figuring out what this is really going to look like when it's done. If they're looking at a house that's not yet complete, some people aren't really good at figuring out what that's going to be like, right?
Right, and some people want to know, they want to compare one builder to another builder, and how does this builder build compared to the other builder, and what is their forte over here, and so it's great knowledge to have, and I'm very happy and lucky to be able to share it with everyone.
Wow, yeah, I think that is really good because most agents aren't going to know the difference between builders. I mean, there's not a lot of agents that really focus on, new construction business in this market.
Mm-hmm. Especially, there's agents that, like you said before, working with the nationals, they're like, and sometimes they're even employed by the builder, right? They have an in-house real estate company, but being a independent agent with all the knowledge of a lot of different builders, I think that puts you in a really strong position to help someone.
Mm-hmm. And that's what I've really tried to stay. I've had the opportunity to go in with the national builders, and I really kind of like my niche where I'm able to kind of stay with my local guys and have that ability to know some off-market things and abilities of knowing what is coming up but also be able to sell the big national guys as well. I mean, of course, I've sold Toll Brothers and D.R. Horton and many of the other ones.
Right. Well, gosh, thank you so much for coming in studio. That was such great information about the differences, and I think we might need to chat a little bit later.
Yeah, and I think if there's builders out there, small builders, and you need an awesome agent, you should call Jackie because she's fantastic. She's got it figured out.
You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, gosh, it's our pleasure. Thank you for tuning into Financial Fitness Northwest. When we come back, we were going to have the Riley Johnson team market update. Today, we're going to touch on what options you have to buy if you don't have 20% saved for a down payment, and what the statistics say.
You got it.
Whoa.
You got it, girl.
I got it. About first-time home buyers. Okay, so to find out about all that fascinating information and any topics discussed on today's show, you can find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com.
So you're feeling frustrated with low inventory and being involved in multiple offer situations where, you're competing with many other buyers? Jackie Ramirez with Windermere Real Estate can help alleviate that frustration. Consider new construction as an option, where there are typically more choices to choose from. For example, more lots, floor plans, finishes, warranties, etc. Jackie Ramirez is a certified new home consultant, an accredited buyer's representative, and a member of the National Home Builders Association. To learn more about what new construction has to offer, please contact her at 425-890-1141 or email her at JackieRamirez@Windermere.com. That's JackieRamirez@Windermere.com.
Are you intimidated by the seller's market we're in and unsure how to secure a home in a multiple offer situation? The Riley Johnson team with Caliber Home Loans has helped hundreds of buyers successfully secure the property of their dreams, even in this challenging market. A pre-approval letter from the Riley Johnson team carries more weight because we have the reputation of closing loans quickly with our state-of-the-art technology known as the ultimate home buying experience. To learn more about our premier service and technology to help you secure the home of your dreams, contact us today at Riley Johnson Team at CaliberHomeLoans.com or visit our website at RileyJohnsonTeam.com. Sarah Riley, NMLS 18007, and Patricia Johnson, NMLS 583004. Caliber Home Loans Incorporated, NMLS ID number 15622. Copyright 2017, all rights reserved. This is not an offer to enter into an agreement. Not all customers will qualify. Information, rates, and programs are subject to change without prior notice. All products are subject to credit and property approval. Not all products are available in all states for all dollar amounts. Other restrictions and limitations apply.
Need help getting started with self-help? You came to the right place. Alternative Talk 1150.
You are tuning in to Financial Fitness Northwest live on 1150 KKNW. It's now time for the Riley Johnson Team Market Update, where we dedicated to providing the tools you need to make informed decisions and how today's events in our local economy can affect your buying power. So, what are we talking about today,
Well,
Sarah?
we're going to talk about just, buying when you don't have the 20% down. And it kind of just goes off of, too, Courtney being here and talking about different products available. And I feel like a lot of buyers, especially first-time home buyers, have this stigma that you have to have a certain amount saved for your down payment, which isn't the case. I just read this report recently released that down payment or 65% of first-time home buyers purchase their home with less than 6% down. So really, there are a lot of options out there. So I thought we could talk about, your class that you have coming up.
Yeah, so really it's not even 20 or 15 or that's a crazy statistic. So 6% down, over 62%. So, if you're out there listening and you're thinking, I don't have any money saved, it doesn't mean that you cannot buy a house.
Right.
There are options for you.
Absolutely. The minimum down conventional is 3%. Everyone thinks it's 5%, but it actually is 3%. FHA is 3.5%. And the report I was reading did talk about how a lot of home buyers are still taking advantage of FHA. Those loans still remain really popular. However, I feel like you don't necessarily have to go FHA, and that a lot of lenders tend to fall back on that for down payment people that have a lower down payment, but it's not necessarily in your best interest. So if you go in and you don't have a lot of money down and your lender says, here, FHA, you need to get another opinion, because conventional 3% down is always going to be in your better interest unless you have a credit issue.
Yeah. And even if you don't have a super high credit score, but that and you're a first-time home buyer, especially you first-time home buyers, the 3% down conventional first-time home buyer with a low mortgage insurance knocks the socks off the FHA loan every day. So like you said, lenders might just go to FHA because they know it and it's been around forever. But mortgage insurance, there's a lot of finessing you can do with that. So,
And when you're talking about first-time home buyers, you're really talking about the down payment assistance program, right? Is that what you're talking about? Because so Patricia has a class with the Washington State Housing Finance Commission. There's a program there, Home Advantage, that allows for down payment assistance. So you literally can get your 3% lent to you with it's confusing to say, but there's no payment. So you have to come and talk to us to get all the details. Yeah. But Patricia teaches the classes, and we're going to post on the website the next class that's coming up. But she does one a month, right?
Yes, I do them every month, and I may actually be doing 2 a month. But right now, the next class is on April 26th, and it is from 5 to 10, which sounds a little bit long, but it is a required 5-hour class by Washington State Housing Finance Commission in order to get your certificate so that you would qualify for that Home Advantage program. And actually, the state bond has a lot of different down payment assistance programs, but with the Home Advantage, you actually do not even have to be a first-time home buyer for that program. So it's a great option. And like Sarah said, as crazy as it sounds, there's no payment on the money that you borrowed for the down payment. It's an interest-free loan until you either refinance or sell your property. So great way to get into a property.
Yeah, and also there's a reduced mortgage insurance when you do that program, which gives you more buying power, actually, than doing an FHA with your down payment, because FHA mortgage insurance is costly. You also have financed-in mortgage insurance on top of your monthly MI with FHA, and it never goes away. It's for the life of the loan, so the only way to get rid of it is to refinance out of the loan. And so besides this down payment assistance, if you had your down payment, there are also reduced MI programs depending on your income and other things. So you really just need to get a second opinion. I mean, it's the biggest investment you'll make in your lifetime. And so you really have to make sure that you're getting all the information and someone's really looking out for your best interests.
Yeah, and even if you haven't started looking because you did feel like you wouldn't be able to buy, talk to a lender that you trust and start the process. Have them do a pre-approval and pull a credit and just see. You might be surprised that you actually could could qualify for a home when maybe you don't feel like you could. And if you have credit issues, it's also a great thing to start the process because, we can help you and advise you on where you need to, go to improve your credit and
or just
give
some
you
little things you need to do.
Tips and tricks to help you get it where you need to be. So if you're 6 months out, you have time, you might as well get working on it.
Right. It's the first planning stages, taking an application and talking to a lender. I love when people say, oh, I don't think I can buy. I have so many friends who are now homeowners who said, oh, I can't buy a house. I don't qualify. I'm like, just take the application and let's talk. And they have the home of their dreams because they just didn't even know what was available to them. So definitely talk to a lender talk to us. So thank you guys so much for tuning into our show, Financial Fitness Northwest. We hope you found the information valuable. To learn more about our show or any guests, find us online at www.financialfitnessnw.com. Please let us know if you have any suggestions about topics discussed today or have any suggestions for future topics. We'd love to hear from you. Have a great week, everyone. We'll see you next Thursday. Talk to you next Thursday.
Thanks for tuning in.